everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kkoolade or Amanda and welcome back. This is the second episode for the 13 Deadly Nights of CAS challenge. So for the remaining 7 that we're doing today, they will be Broken Angel, Devoted Guardian, Motherly Creature, In Broad Daylight, Undead Superstar, Midnight Nightmare, and Survivor of the Horrors. As I said in the previous episode, all of my creations are being posted throughout the month on Reddit and Twitter. I also will have the Sims available on the gallery, and you can find the information about that in the description below. And also just worth mentioning, I do use a lot of CC when I'm making my Sims. I don't have any kind of CC finds page at the moment, although I would love to make one eventually. But if there is anything you see on any of my Sims that you're curious where I got it, or if you want to download them off the gallery and you want everything they're wearing or their makeup or anything like that, just let me know. I am more than happy to get those links for you and share them. Other than that, my dears, let us continue and see the last 7 Sims that I have created for you this Halloween. So our first one here to start us off is Broken Angel. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. I am making a male Sim, which is something I don't do very often, but when I do, they tend to be edgy and emo because that's just kind of my vibe. This one and the next one, which is Devoted Guardian, are a duo design. Like, they are meant to be together like a set. Both of their designs are based around these wings that I found online, and they are pulled from the game Terra, which is an MMO, and I had never heard of it until I came across these. You cannot change the gold halo on top, only the wings come in white and then this black and red. So what I decided to do for his design is he has been corrupted by some kind of evil or demonic force, hence why his wings are black, like his skin has turned like shadowy and black as well. And because I can't get rid of that red in the wings, I also decided to give him accent like pops of red throughout the rest of his design. I think I do it with some makeup and maybe like some jewelry here. I gave him the traits evil, gloomy, and mean. He's just an all-around bad guy. And then I gave him a collecting aspiration as if he was like a dragon that had a big hoard of money, you know, nefarious collecting, I suppose. I also really love these tattoos that I found at some point a while ago, and I'm always looking for fantasy people to include them on because it's a full body set and I wanted you to see it, so I left him shirtless. You're welcome. And then I think that's all I have to say about him. Okay, so our counterpart to our Broken Angel is number 8, Devoted Guardian. So the wings for her are white and gold. I, was dying to make an angel character at some point, just like a very classic white and gold angel, so Devoted Guardian ended up being my spot to shine here. I wanted to give her a little bit more like etherealness or godliness, so I made her skin a kind of shiny, slightly not natural color. Again, you see the use of that tattoos, and these tattoos also came in a reflective set, which is what I'm using here. They actually like shine and reflect the light, which I think is just so cool. It really adds like depth and dimension to the sim. So she knows our Broken Angel and she is saddened by his corruption and, wants to help, but knows that she might not be able to fix it. Other than that, she's overall like a happy and good person. I gave her the good trait. She's loyal. She's a genius because she's like an angel. She's omniscient, wants to do good by others. Her aspiration is like social and friendly, pretty classic. I also love any time that I make blonde Sims and I get the chance to use the more brown colored eyelashes because I think they're very fun and natural. And then I'm just kind of going through and adding as much gold as possible. That's pretty much her entire color scheme. I'd like to also give a big shout out to the Sentate Gladiator heel shoes because they are iconic. She's really woof. Alright, so next one, number 9, is Motherly Creature. This is a bit of a unique take, but just like hear me out. I realized that I didn't have any plans for an alien at any point, and I was trying to utilize all of the different occults. Oh, I also did go back and make Broken Angel and Devoted Guardian spellcasters at some point. I don't know if I did that in the footage, but yeah, just trying to use all of the occults. So for Motherly Creature, I originally wanted to do a Madonna Virgin Mary kind of vibes, but make it creepy, like a long, gangly creature with an unsettling face and a veil, or like long hanging cloth kind of thing. One, I did not know if I had the right CC in the bank for that, and two, I'd already like made that same kind of creepy vibe in a couple other characters, so I wanted to branch out and do something different. So I ended up looking up different goddesses from different cultures, like fertility goddesses for inspiration. There was one goddess that I came across named Hathor from Egyptian culture, and they said that she was often depicted as like a cow or having cow-like coloring, maybe. I don't know enough. This was like a base level Wikipedia kind of search, but I did try to include lots of like brown earthy colors, and then everything else gold baby. There were a lot of really beautiful textured hairs that came from a Sentate collab that I found. And then also this headdress. Can we talk about this headdress? This is from a fantasy CC creator, and I think it might be from some kind of Dark Souls boss or something like that, but it is gorgeous and iconic, and I have just been waiting for the moment to use it. So I think it adds to the regal godliness aspect. And then I just tried to bling her out with as many accessories as possible. So because I was going off the idea of her being a fertility goddess, she is interested in family, like outdoors. I was thinking agriculture or like fertile land. I might have forgotten to give her a third trait, but something probably generically good. And then in terms of aspirations, I gave her that like family lineage one because, again, you know, like family and connectedness and reproduction and prosperity and all of that. So here's where the alien part comes in. I didn't quite have the skin color that I wanted because I don't have any CC skin colors for the aliens, so I went with this bright green color, leaning into that outdoorsy earthiness. So the reason I went with alien was because I was thinking, have you ever seen that trope in fantasy genres or with gods where they're like, oh, I have come before you in a form that like you are comfortable with, or in a form that your mind can comprehend. So the idea is that like the alien counterpart is like maybe like what she actually looks like, the form that people could not comprehend. And honestly, what this look gave me when I was done is she reminds me so much of like a orc or a troll shaman from World of Warcraft. Like you can see my inspirations, and I wasn't quite sure where it was going at first, but once I added all of the makeup, I was very happy with it. It's definitely a little out of my wheelhouse, but I think she came out very fun and interesting. So this is probably the most unique sim that I made while doing this challenge. Our number 10 is In Broad Daylight. I felt like just based on the prompt that I had to go with a vampire or a werewolf. So I ended up leaning vampire because, you know, they are among us. Cute, quirky meme. She is living amongst the humans. She's out in the daylight, which isn't something that you normally consider a vampire to be able to do in like traditional vampire fantasy lore. So she is a Victorian vampire, and she is also a vegetarian. You can see that her aspiration is to be like the good vampire. So she either, you know, like just eats the plasma fruits, or like maybe she will drink from someone else if they offer kindly. But overall, you know, she is a vegetarian. She can eat human food, but she avoids meat as well. She is outdoorsy. And then because I was going for this Victorian Gothic pale thing, I wanted her to be the sickly Victorian child trope. There isn't like a sickly trait, but I gave her lazy to try to roleplay that because she doesn't partake in human blood like enough to meet her nutritional needs. She is weaker and sicker because of it, but is very dedicated to her ethics and her morals. I also just wanted to say that there was something about this ombre hair that I really fell in love with, and the way that it was looking in contrast to these magenta violet eyes. Something about it was really working for me. So I also changed the necklace to match the eyes so that would be more cohesive. Number 11, Undead Superstar. So as another one of the Sentate Halloween collections, they put out these two dresses, and the dresses changed the sim model so that some of the bones are exposed, and I thought that that would be perfect for trying to mimic a zombie. We don't actually have a zombie form in The Sims 4. We did in Sims 3, but honestly, I didn't even really like them, so I'm kind of glad it didn't carry over. Like, I'll make do with what I have here. Like, I am very much a occult player. Even if I start a family that is all human, I feel like they eventually end up being a cult somehow. I can't help it. I'm that player. So the more fantasy stuff we get in The Sims, the happier I am. So my idea about this Undead Superstar, maybe she was creative as a human initially, or maybe it was something that changed in her brain chemistry upon like being reborn as an undead. I don't know. She doesn't really remember her past life, but she knows that she is creative, she's self-assured, and she is self-absorbed as well. She wants to be a celebrity. She's famous in the fantasy undead world. I had a lot of fun accessorizing her. I actually do go back later and I keep adding more to her because I was feeling like even though she had, you know, like the knee and the hand bone exposed, I still felt like she didn't quite look undead enough. Like her skin was a little too clear for being a corpse. So I did use the blue swatch of some of the birthmark details to add some different texture to her face, and as well as the eye crackling that comes from the vampires pack. I think I also add like a stitching along her cheek. Yeah, I made her a vampire because it was the closest thing that I could get to her being undead. And also zombies in typical lore tend to eat people and vampires feast on people's blood. So it felt like the closest match I could get. I had a lot of fun making her very pastel. So number 12 is Midnight Nightmare. I knew from the beginning of this challenge when I downloaded this CC hair that I'm using that I wanted to use this for some kind of creepy girl, but I was struggling where to fit it in. My initial idea was to do kind of the Ring inspired character, like pale black hair hanging in the face, you know, like flowy kind of loose clothing. Again, running into one of those things where I didn't feel like I could make it as effectively in The Sims as I wanted to. So I did end up going off inspiration of the picture that is advertised with this hair, which is this blue shade and like a paler complexion. So that was my inspiration for getting this one started. I tried to give her like some creepiness with the makeup and some skin details that I add later. I really loved the one-legged ripped fishnets, but it was conflicting with the shoes that I wanted her to wear, so I ended up changing it to a different one that looks ripped. So I think what this kind of ended up being is a vampire bad bitch. Like she's going to raves, she's out at the club late at night, she's terrorizing humans as they're like drunk doing their walk of shame back from parties and stuff. Like she's out there prowling and just fucking with people. And I feel like it could kind of work because, you know, you're out partying with your friends and you're disoriented because you're like under the influence of things, and then there's this like scary creature that's just messing with you at night. Like I feel like she would become an urban legend. I made her Aspiration Chief of Mischief because she likes to mess with people. She has fun with it. She's also a big party gal. She's self-assured and she's mean. And our very last sim is Survivor of the Horrors. This is the last girl, the one who survives it all, but maybe comes away traumatized from it. So for her, I made her a werewolf. She is, in addition to coming away traumatized and injured with all of the cuts and the bites and the scars, she also has been transformed into a werewolf against her will. She got infected with the lycanthropy bite and is trying to wrestle with controlling it and not hurting other people around her. I had a good time here trying to make her look very grimy. These pants and the shoes from the werewolf pack worked really well for a start, and then I also had this like blood and dirt kind of mix that I put on her body that was CC, and then there's this one thing that adds dirt to the face, so I did that as well. The reason that she was able to survive is because she is active and athletic and a genius, but after her experiences with everything, she is quite squeamish. And I gave her the Werewolf Initiate because once you get past that first level, it branches into 4 different options, and so her desire is going to be to look for a cure to her lycanthropy. I tried to keep her look overall low contrast, lots of desaturated kind of browns, grays, creams. I realized that I didn't uncheck the linked box for when I started the werewolf, and the werewolf form looks so fucked up. I was like, what is happening here? But Someone online told me that if I just randomized the werewolf form, it would fix it, and it did, so that was good. I didn't really have anything particularly special to add to the werewolf form, just tried to make it similar color scheme to her, still dirty and injured, and similar brown desaturated color schemes. I left the clothes on because I kind of like that idea of you transform, but all of your, your clothes are still there. The only other thing detail-wise that I added was on her, I gave her a pendant from the werewolf, as if that is somehow significant to her transformation or maybe the cure. I did want to put it on the werewolf form as well, but the texture, the object got really wonky, so I didn't include it, but just pretend it's there. She has a necklace on when she's a werewolf, and I think that's all I have to say. Thank you all for joining me in this challenge. I hope that you enjoyed my creations. I hope you're having a wonderful October. I hope you have a wonderful Halloween. It was really fun getting to share my creations with the Sims community this year, and I really appreciated that the challenge was 13 days instead of a longer 28 or 31, because I felt like I got to focus more on the Sims that I was making instead of rushing to get a bunch of them done. So thank you so much to Nika Tyler for creating this challenge. Please go support them. Please give me a like and a subscribe if you'd like to support me, and otherwise I will see you all next time.